Hi everybody, this is Evan. I just wanted to touch base with you today and kind of discuss some ways that I feel are best practices when negotiating the best price in a real estate transactions for your buyer clients. To me, they come down to three things. First of which being your preparation. Secondly, the strategies that you employ along the way. And then thirdly, and I think probably the most important thing, is your having strong communication skills and building rapport with co-opting agents in our industry. When it comes to preparation, it's very important that you understand the market that you're working in. You should be able to analyze comparable properties in the area. Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? These things will allow you to set realistic expectations for your buyer client when progressing through the real estate transaction. I often tell people, when it comes to setting expectations, I'll tell people all the time, it's not exactly what I think your property is worth, and it doesn't necessarily matter what you think it's worth, but rather what the market says it's worth. It's also important in terms of preparation to understand what your the seller's motivation is. That can help you leverage negotiations. Are they being relocated? Are they downsizing? Are they in fact in some sort of financial distress? Those obviously contribute to what you're leveraging when trying to purchase a property in the market. It's always important also to highlight property weaknesses as you view homes, such as is it on a busy street? Are electromechanicals nearing the end of their life? Those are things that you should pay attention to and be able to speak to when making an offer, and sometimes justifies a lower purchase price for your client. Secondly, when it comes to strategy, you always want to start, in my opinion, with a reasonable offer. I have clients all the time that want to lowball people, and to be honest with you, that kind of turns sellers off. And just a reasonable offer from the onset shows you have an earnest and serious buyer for that property. You should also use contingencies in the contract pretty strategically. And what I mean by that is, you want to protect your buyer, obviously, with those contingencies, such as inspections and things like that. But I always like to throw things in there that are fine being removed. Maybe it be a home warranty, or some contribution towards title insurance. Those are things that are somewhat non-essential, so they can be removed and make the offer look better as you progress through the negotiation process. You can also leverage deadlines. Usually having a tight deadline for responses creates a sense of urgency for a seller. And I always want to talk to my buyer clients, especially about, what you have to be willing to walk away from this transaction. Oftentimes, sellers are more willing to negotiate with you if they don't think you're desperate for a home. And thirdly, and probably the most important thing in my eyes, is having strong communication skills and building rapport with co-opting agents across our industry. There's many times where, I've been in this game for a little while, and I've done deals with many different agents, and have that rapport with them where, if my buyer wants a house that they have listed, in some cases, because of the rapport we've established, I can literally call those people and say, hey, what's it going to take to get this deal done? And, if they want to work with you and they've had success in the past working with you, they're more than likely willing to tell you what it takes to get the job done. So that's where the relationship between co-opting agents is so important in real estate and most any sales industry. It's also important to sometimes negotiate beyond what the purchase price is. So, is your buyer willing to pay some of the closing costs? Throw in and out appliances from the deal. Extend or shorten an occupancy deadline that might be beneficial to the seller. So it's always good to think outside the box and know that this purchase contract goes far beyond just what the purchase price itself ends up being. And also sometimes the use of silence I've found is pretty good. Put them on ice, so to speak. Silence can sometimes provide a bit of pressure to a seller for them to respond favorably to you. At the end of the day, working hard, being your authentic self, and respectful to everyone who is involved in the transaction is the best way to have success when working with buyer clients.